What's going on, people? CP3, live on vacation out in Elkhart, Indiana, just chilling, enjoying some time off. Decided to come out, talk about the AP signing, and we might as well have the Redskins weekly. Look like DujunneaB is ready to come on. So let's go. I don't even want to start without my main man on the line. So we're gonna see how Facebook is acting today. I'm on the road, so my Wi-Fi signal kind of iffy. So I'm hoping everything works out fine. DujunneaB, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man?
Ain't nothing. Just enjoying vacation. I was trying to chill out and just, take the week off from the show. But this breaking news with Adrian Peterson, Redskin Nation is all in the uproar. So I figured, why not? Me and you might as well chop it up, talk about what's going on, to break down the Jets game, and let's break down the most crucial third preseason game coming up. But let's get to this AP situation. How do you feel about this sign? I know you said you were working on an article that I know you definitely going to break it down for the people, but just give them a little tease about what you're going to talk about in this article you're working on, sir.
It's just basically talking about the signing, why they signed him. You only have 3 running backs on the roster, so they don't want to be rolling out Chris Thompson and Rob Kelly or Capri Bibbs, for that matter, too much in these last 2 preseason games. And Jay said in the press conference yesterday, they're not too interested, and he's a little gun shy right now. And you can see the frustration on his face with these injuries. It just seems like they can't shake that whole thing, and it's becoming annoying to him. And he doesn't want to lose his starters in the process, so he's trying to do whatever he can to get camp bodies in. And they do need a few more running backs. I mean, you got to have guys that you can rotate in, and AP provides that. Not only does he provide a solid back who most, along with Trent Williams, feel he hasn't lost a step at all. And I know people will go back to New Orleans and Arizona and try to get into that, but I guess we'll talk about that a little bit. But he's going to be able to provide them with the locker room presence. He has he's highly experienced, and he's going to give them the education on helping guys like Rob Kelly, Samanje, when he gets back and gets healthy, and those guys an opportunity to learn how to hit these holes and to see things the way he saw them. Not saying
Look like we lost DujunneaB on that. We're going to see if we can get him back on. Like I said, my signal is kind of fluctuating. I'm not at home right now, but bear with us. We're always going to get this good insight and good knowledge, but sometimes technology just doesn't bear with us. There we go. What's going on, brother? I see you back.
But what I was saying is that these guys will have knowledge to be able to play the game, be able to get better in that department. He's going to be a good locker room and a running back presence in that running back locker room. So it's a good signing.
Yeah, definitely. Last year we saw, he played a little bit. He didn't look like he was, out of the league or should be out of the league. So in his preseason, like I mentioned on my earlier Facebook Live, who says he's even going to be there week 1? With the veteran minimum and the way that the CBA is, they might cut him week 4, bring him back week 2 if, Perrine isn't back right, or if the running back core isn't right. And who knows what he's going to bring to the table. But because of the narrative, oh, he's this, he's that, Redskins fans, calm down. It doesn't make a difference what he was. It's about where this team is now, and this team is in a totally different position where they're not even dependent totally on the running game. You got Chris Thompson as your third down back. You got, as you said, Bibbs. You got other players on the roster that can fill in if needed. Ain't like he's going to be getting the ball first, second, and third down, and then, 3 and out, and then the crowd and the team is like, oh, what is going to happen? The team is diverse. The team is different. The team is more talented. So pump your brakes. Calm down. Go pop a Xanax or something. Football season is almost here. Y'all in mid-season form already with the drama because there is none. And as I mentioned before, with ESPN 980 falling apart, 106.7 being the doo-doo site that they are, they trying to manufacture drama for y'all to get upset about. Calm down. Chill.
Well, what I like to say, too, is you have to think about it here. You have Samanje. He may be okay, but they don't want to roll him out next week. Jay's gun shy now, and I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for that at all. Again, we're seeing the preseason, and it's not, and let's be fair here. The Redskins aren't the only ones suffering injuries here. There's injuries all across the league that have been catastrophic for teams, whether it's offensive line wise, wide receiver wise, whatever. There's problems here. So it's not just the Redskins. They don't really know where Byron Marshall's going to be. It could be 2 to 4 weeks. Can't afford for a guy to be out 4 weeks, and you can't play the guessing game. If you don't have Samanje, now you don't have the bodies to put in for your last preseason game, and you don't have the bodies to put in for this upcoming preseason game on Friday, which is important. It's a dress rehearsal game, at least what is deemed to be the dress rehearsal game, and they've got to have bodies. Again, you're right. There's no guarantee that he's on this roster by week 1 against Arizona. But I also can see a scenario where he can be on this roster if he looks to be the part behind this offensive line. In the red zone, he can be a threat there as his big body, his ability to run the football strong and hard in that area and be able to punch in. That could be an area and a thing that the Redskins could use right now. And again, we stop living in the past, guys. Geis is gone. And it's unfortunate. This signing does not mean that Geis is not the man and does not mean he is not the future of this team as its starting running back, but it is what it is right now. Guys got to have bodies, and I'll just go over a little bit Jamal Charles. Alex Smith spoke highly of him yesterday as well. But again, we know the history of Jamal, and he hasn't since those 2 catastrophic knee injuries. He's looked nothing like himself, who the dominant back he was in Kansas City. I talked about Orleans Darkwa in the offseason as a free agent signing and a possible guy to bring in. He's had flashes, but obviously AP showed something. And I don't know if you guys caught the video of him and the big man Trent Williams running around in drills, and they train together. Looks good to me, and it seems like everyone from the Saints organization until today is pretty amazed about how AP looked. Jay ran him hard. John Keim reported that, and I'll give him the credit for that. John Keim reported that, and Jay talked about it as they ran them hard in these workouts. There was a lot of physical running, a lot of physical contact. They want to see what these guys can do. Again, they need them to last the next 2 preseason games, and he needs body. So he needs guys who can play. Orleans had an injury. I believe Jamal was pretty fairly healthy, and I think Darkwa was as well. But he is coming off an injury. So again, AP beat these guys out, and I repeat, there was no previous conversations with AP or his agent until Sunday's phone call to bring him in for a workout. He just simply is a free agent. They saw his body on there, and they know what he can do and what he's been capable of. They understand he's on the wrong side of 30, but again, as Jay has reiterated time and time again, they're not looking for a starting running back. So if he contributes and does well and contributes to this football team, excellent for Redskins fans, excellent for the Washington Redskins. Who's to say he's going to be on here? As you stated, he's going to be here week 1. We don't know that. But in the meantime, they have bodies. And they're not going to roll out guys like Chris Thompson, who we don't really need to see him out there in a preseason game. And Lord forbid he gets hurt. And then you're in another predicament with your third down back. So they're not going to roll him out there. You don't want to put Capri Bibbs, who's looked solid, in a position. And we lost Montez Carter as well, a guy who was showing promise, who had to be cut because of an injury suffered in the Jets game. So again, can't lose any more guys. You only got 3 on the roster. You have to get someone in here. AP obviously beat those guys out. So It is what it is. And I don't think it's awful at all by any means.
I don't either. Johnny had mentioned, the injuries and is it through conditioning. But like you said, it's injuries throughout the league. It's a physical game. You're going to have injuries. It's about next man up. Jason also said I didn't catch the game, so when we talk about the Jets game, I'm definitely going to lean on you. I saw the highlights but didn't. But Jason mentioned Rob Kelly after the the first preseason game, mentioned how he wasn't shuffling his feet and didn't seem as tentative hitting the hole, but he made the observation, I guess, after the last game that he looked like he was getting more tentative again, and he's missing some of his weight. What do you say about that?
There's some things I liked about Rob, and I'll go with him. I don't think he was tentative. I think Rob Kelly looks a little bit, at times, look a little bit like his old self with the, with the skipping, the kind of hesitation in the step instead of busting and hitting the hole that is there. But I thought there's a tremendous improvement with him. You see a little bit more quickness. I would like for him to be a little lower and hit the hole a little faster. And that's what you saw with Samanje on that run before the ankle injury. I mean, dude, straight hit the hole, was gone.
Gone.
He saw it, hit it, did it. And that's what you got to have. That's why I think as well, they have a guy who is experienced, who is that one-cut type of runner in AP to be able to do this. Because, again, Rob Kelly is sketchy. And I still feel like in that game, although there was more good of Rob than bad, there's still those tendencies. But, again, a guy like AP can help that by him being in this locker room. So, I thought Rob overall did well, though. I think the weight off is good for him. He looks better. When he has had opportunities and he did get out of space and he did what you expect a running back to do, hit that hole 1 foot in with this type of scheme and hit that hole, he looks good. And he looks better than he did last year with the weight on and with the dreads. So skinny Rob definitely looks improved. But, yes, at times there's some of that hesitation, not hit the hole yet, indecisiveness that he's got to get rid of.
Most definitely. In the NFL, you don't have time to chop your feet. By the time you do that, you tackle in the backfield.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's go ahead. We didn't talk enough about the running back position. Let's go ahead and break down some of this Jets game. Unfortunately, I haven't got a chance to check out all the footage. I saw some highlights. You know, it was I saw some things that I liked and I didn't like. But let's go ahead and break it down by position. How did Alex Smith look to you under center with this first-team offense out there?
Exactly how you expect Alex Smith to look. He looked in control of the offense. I believe in the first play, a guy gets loose, and I'm sure along with myself, and I'm a reporter, my heart dropped a little bit because the guy came unblocked, hit him nice and square, one of those hits where you hit the guy and you kind of carry him and you land on him kind of hits. He was able to complete that pass. He kind of laughed and shook it off, got up, no problem, but he knew where to go with the football. There was no hesitation. He knew where the outlet was, and the good thing about that is it appeared that his teammate knew that he was the outlet as well. So that is important. They drove the ball down the field. Again, I've spoken this time and time again. This Jay Gruden offense can move the ball within the 20s without a problem. But once again, and we can talk about that, we had a few drops in the end zone that hit balls that hit guys right in the hands. And I'll say the one with Trey Quinn, there was heavy defender, coverage there. But the bottom line is his hands got on it. And you know the old John Madden saying, if you get your hands on the ball, you got to catch it. And he should have caught it. It was right there. It was away from the defender. It was away and down in a good position for him to get it. Yeah, he didn't come away with it, and they settled for a field goal. They settled for a lot of field goals in that game. But the bottom line is that the offense moved the football. Alex Smith looks like he understands his offense. And, again, it's a West Coast offense, something he's been familiar with his whole entire career. It's just maybe some terminology and maybe some things that Jay and this Washington Redskins team does differently. But, man, he looked in command, and the guys looked in command of what they needed to do and execute on the field as a whole on offense.
All right. Well, you mentioned somebody came free up the gut to hit Alex square. How was the offensive line looking? And I'm going to ask, how was the left guard play with the first team offensive line?
Solid. I thought they played solid. Now again, with that freeness was it was a play action move. and it was a little bit of a boot. He went to go boot, and when he turned around, oh boy, it was right in his face. And he made the play. So it was a naked boot. That was a design. They just managed to call the right defense to get in his face and get some pressure. Still was able to complete that ball, though. But overall, the offensive line, I thought, played very well. The guard position was very well. I don't think Sean, like, again, and I've said this all offseason, you know it, Carol, Laval is one piece to a big puzzle there. Everyone else and their talent level is extremely high. We know Laval, when healthy, and despite his inconsistencies, he's still a solid player when healthy. And he's done it. He did do an excellent job. They all played very well. And I thought they were able to run the ball decent in that first the first couple of series there. And they did an excellent job as far as protecting Alec and allowing him to see things down the field and find guys in open spaces to continue to move the ball.
Okay. Well, I had a couple of comments mentioning Sims. He's actually been somebody I've been trying to keep an eye on. You mentioned some drops in the end zone. What is his impact on this team? Do you think that he's going to make the team? And what do you think is missing from this wide receiver core with some of the drops that they had that could have been 6 points instead of settling for 3?
Now, the drops, if I'm not mistaken, were by guys who are either rookies or guys making this team. Okay. What is that? Paul Richardson had a good, it was a short pass. He was able to get some yak on. Trey Quinn had that ball he dropped. And I could be wrong. As far as I know, the starters, there weren't any starters that dropped balls. Josh Dotson got a ball. He went up and attacked the ball, got it. And Cam Sims is a guy that I talked about during the game, tweeted about during the game and before the game. Mentioned about Cam. He's a big guy, Alabama guy. And a lot of people don't really know about him because of all the extras with Alabama. A lot of different recent players. You got Calvin Ridley there, so you're kind of lost in the sauce. And people don't really know much. If you're not a college football watcher, you don't know a lot about Cam Sims. Cam Sims is a big guy. He uses his size very well. He attacks the football using his hands, using his size to get in position to snatch the ball out of the air. Problem is, though, is that at times he drops the football. And he will get better at times, but he redeemed himself twice in that game. There was a dumb holding call, which he came down with a touchdown, ended up being a holding call that I didn't agree with, but whatever. Who am I? And he was able to get a touchdown on that, and he made a couple other big plays. He was made a big play on that final drive that they were able to get the game-winning field goal on. So, Cam Sims is a guy who he continues to play like that. He's also on or participates in special teams. Another thing, again, you hear guys like Brian Mitchell and others comment on that, and it's a kind of a forgotten thing with the Washington Redskins and special teams. But these guys, if he can do that and make and do and win on special teams, he's going to have an opportunity to win this roster and win a spot on this roster. If he makes plays like he made in this game last week, he's going to make this roster. And Brian Quick might be finding himself quickly out of here.
Nice. All right, pun intended. I had Jason also chimed in with, he said, our tight ends need to show up more. You know I'm a big Jordan Reed fan. I love the 3 tight end set. As I say, I didn't catch the game. So what did you see from this tight end group that against the Jets, and see where are they headed? Because we know Jay loves to use the tight ends, and he runs his offense through the tight end.
As always, I've been always high on Sprink. And he performed, and it's Vernon Davis. I mean, Vernon Davis is Vernon Davis. I mean, what more do I need to say? Vernon Davis is Vernon Davis.
Fountain of youth.
He makes plays. And now he has his old quarterback back, and it doesn't really matter. Like, I've heard a lot of media pundits say the exact same thing. It doesn't matter who this guy has as quarterback. He's going to make himself available to be able to make plays. And he does that. I believe Flanagan was in for a couple plays. He had a couple drops. He was, sought after, and they threw it to him, but he didn't make a lot of plays. But as far as Vernon and Sprink, those guys are going to do what they're going to do. And all we can ask for, and fans are asking for, is a little bit extra blocking, the blocking to be tighter for this team, especially in the running game. And hopefully, as we talked about in camp, Jordan Reed is looking the part. So hopefully he plays this week and we get a chance to see it. Not too much, though, because, it's a sketchy thing with him being out on that football field. We don't want to lose that guy right now. And he looks really good. He looks really good and looks like himself, unlike previous off seasons and camps.
All right, I'm laughing because a couple of the viewers are chiming in on Reed the same thing, saying if he can stay healthy, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Wrap him up in bubble wrap, he's good to go. I want to remind fans, remember, this man was a quarterback in college. So him playing tight in the NFL, he's getting hit by linebackers and safeties that he's never been hit by before. So when you say that he's soft, yes, he is soft because he's not used to getting hit like that. So, yes, we do need to protect him. And he does have to play better and put his body in better physical conditioning. And that's what they've seen. And hopefully it translates on the field because that's all we can hope for. Aaron, obviously, we always on the same page. Jay needs to stick with the run more. We think that this year they definitely will. Like DujunneaB mentioned with the offensive line playing like they have with Alex Smith, being the game manager that he is, knowing how to get the short plays off, and that'll give him more flexibility because, as I've mentioned, Alex, the one thing I like about him that I didn't like about Kurt is when it was time to break the pocket, Alex goes. Kurt going to stand like a deer in the headlights, throw a bad interception or take a bad sack. So with that intangible, that's going to open up things for the offense because the defense knows that. So with that little hitch right there, and remember, he still does have the capability to do the zone read every now and again just to throw teams off. So there are things that's going to open up on this team because you have that veteran leadership from this quarterback. You know what he's going to do. He's not going to throw interceptions. He's not going to make bad decisions. And he's going to put you in the best position to win. And that's all this team needs. And also, there's no controversy. There's no drama. He wants to be here. There is no question. So soak it up and enjoy, Redskins fans. Stop falling for the BS of what they manufacture to get you upset. Now,
the Jets game, he showed that. Alex showed a lot of that. There was times where he had to make plays. He had to move the pocket, get up and make plays. He made some plays downfield. Guys made some catches in some critical moments. And so you're going to see that. And he's done that his whole career. So that is something that we should expect. That's not something fans should not expect from him. And he's very smart with the football. He's going to make smart decisions. That's why the interception ratio to touchdown ratio is one of the most impeccable in the league. So, I think that's something that Skins fans don't have to worry about, and he will always be that guy. But he's also not afraid to chuck it down the field and give his receiver an opportunity, which we saw a few times as he threw it out, was able to throw kind of a back shoulder throw. It wasn't complete, but over and over again, and I tweeted it during the game, you saw a lot of times where Alex puts the ball where his guys not only can catch the ball and not only just his guy can catch the ball, but he gives him an opportunity to make a play with the football after getting it. There was a couple back shoulder, longer throws where it looked like it was a coverage, and it was, but he threw it in a spot where his guy could only get it, hopefully, and the defender didn't even know it was coming. So only the receiver knew. Just wasn't able to make a play on it. But you see those things, and that separates the good from the great. So those things are going to make and win you a couple of games. Those things are going to extend a drive or two that are needed in critical moments because he has the ability and the wherewithal to do those types of things. And as they continue to do this, continue to practice, continue to build a rapport, everybody's going to be on the same page, and he's going to have the receivers that are capable of making those plays.
No doubt. All right, let's get to my favorite side of the ball, defense. All right, we had a couple of folks chime in saying about stopping the run in the D-line. Yeah, I know they haven't put everybody out there, so I know Payne had a good game from what I saw, some of the highlights. He was causing havoc, and I believe he either got a sack or got a nice tackle for loss. So what did the D-line look like to you out there against this Jets offense?
It's kind of scary to think about the potential of this defense. Pain is advertised, and I understand not everybody keeps an eye on college football. Not everybody gets an opportunity to see those types of things or the things on the college level. And this guy is as advertised. Clogs up the middle. He was able to push the pocket several times and enable guys like Kerrigan and Preston Smith to be able to convert, stopping the run. Settles is another guy who is not even the starter. He's a rotational guy. And he's doing the exact same thing. I thought Kerrigan, John mentioned that as well. I thought Kerrigan looked good as well, looked in midseason form. Preston Smith, he should look good. It's a contract year, baby. You know what they do with contract years.
Yes,
so
sir.
He's got to look good, and he did. He put pressure on the quarterback, was able to make some plays there. This linebacking core, and I was just going over this as I had another article I wrote this morning. This linebacking core is deep, and it's deep beyond the second guy. There are guys that aren't going to make this roster. Possibly they'll get the opportunity to be on the practice squad. There are a couple undrafted free agents that made some plays late in the game. I'll say Fernandez. I think his name's Gerard Fernandez or Jared Fernandez. Guy made plays in 2 games. He had 12 tackles over 2 games, had 2 sacks against the Jets. And I mean blow up and get in the backfield like type sacks. Stops the run very well. So this linebacking core is deep, and they have the ability to have a plethora of guys who can rotate in and out and make plays. Again, Ryan Anderson was able to do some things. It is insanely crazy how this front seven worked in that first starters. They basically shut down the Jets offensively. And the Jets were able to move the ball. I think, they were able to move the ball in that second time and get down the field a little bit. But when they got in the red zone, defense tightened up, made plays. It's incredible. I saw a Stroman comment there as well. He made plays. I think they're hoping that their supplementary draft pick gets an opportunity as well. Emmanuel says something about, does Sean Dion Hamilton make this team? Yeah. Where's he from? Where's Sean Dion Hamilton from? That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I believe it's
the Alabama.
Yeah,
so, of course. And again, I don't know if you were able to hear a previous show. Sean Dion Hamilton was the guy who was calling the shots and calling the different defenses for Nick Saban on that defense. But Nick Saban speaks highly of Sean Dion Hamilton and his ability to understand and to be able to call and get defense in the right position. And I'm not saying he's ready for that now. I'm just saying the potential is there. And he's also shown that he can make plays, not just in practice, but he's shown it in the preseason game. This guy's going to be good. And I think you have to have a guy like that behind a Zach Brown, just in case. And the more the merrier. That's what football's all about. That's what the Redskins have been trying to do, is trying to have more than just starters, but to have a healthy rotation that Greg Minunsky can throw out anything, anytime, anywhere, sort of that Greg Williams-like mentality of being able to mix it up and be a chef in the kitchen and be able to throw out different looks and different things that teams haven't seen, because they were confined last year after those injuries, and they had to run what worked best for the.
Oh, look, we might have come on. There we go. Came back. Yeah, no doubt. I'm waiting to see what this defense is going to look like. We talked about the interchangeable pieces, the guys, the hybrids. They can play D-line or linebacker or safety. So you mentioned Stroman and Adonis Alexander. How is this secondary looking like it's rounding up? Because we mentioned the front seven always compensates for the back. If the front seven get pressure, then the back doesn't have to cover, but for maybe 2 to 3 seconds. That's when you get turnovers, knockdowns, and all types of stuff like that. So as long as the front seven is getting good pressure, which it sounds like they are, sounds like the back end is going to be fine. But is there anyone that stood out that's still looking to be that corner on the opposing side of Josh Norman, or is it still a toss-up at this point?
I don't think it's a toss-up. I think Dunny gets it done. I don't. And if fans can't see that, I don't know how you can't see it. And not everyone's an expert. So I don't expect everyone to understand why. But the bottom line is Dunny's where he needs to be, and always is where he needs to be when he needs to be there. He's a sure tackler. He's always there to try to make a play on the ball or to try to get the ball or knock the ball away from the defender. He's played well. He played well with those starters as the starters played in that Jets game. He played very well. Very smart cat. And you have to see why Jay is so high on him. I think he's really going to be given the opportunity to show why Jay is so high on him this year. And in that preseason game, he definitely showed on several plays why he should be the starter next to Josh Norman.
It's crazy that man is converted from wide receiver. Never played one. He never played any downs at defensive back, or did he have some experience before?
No. I believe he was just a straight guy who was a wide receiver converted. But you know what? It's some things that guys are just have the head and the wherewithal. He has talent. We all know that, or he wouldn't be there. Obviously, the guy, understands how a receiver works and how he works the field. So now he's taking the defender skills that he's learned. He's had some great guys to learn behind. Yeah. You're talking about D. Hall. You're talking about a Josh Norman. You have guys that you're able to learn from that have been there, done that, and have been and are at the top of their game. If you take that knowledge and act like you don't know everything and apply it on the football field, you yourself can be great too. So he's showing that all these things that he's learned over the years, he's applying that. I saw a few comments about Troy Apke. I thought the guy made some pretty good plays. He was right where he needed to be when that tip ball went up.
Yep.
He made plays. I saw Fabian Monroe, another text messages here. Fabian Monroe, another guy. Everybody was concerned about the loss of a guy who was coming up in that trade. But, hey, Fabian Monroe is making plays. Monte Nicholson, another guy who's continuing to show that he can go side to side still and make plays. Obviously, want the guy to be able to protect himself and protect that shoulder. But overall, this secondary is going to be full of speed and full of guys that are hungry and want to make plays, and led by DJ Swearinger. You can't be slipping out there, bro. There is no slipping.
Yeah, that's why I love that's why I said last year that DJ signing was so crucial for this team, because I wanted him out when he first came out. Unfortunately, he got drafted to the position before the Redskins and ended up going to Houston instead of coming to the Skins. But I love his leadership. I love his whole demeanor out there. I know everybody throws Sean Taylor's name out there, but he has that it factor out there, the ball hawk, the aggressive nature, the trash talking. He brings it all, and he gets you hype, and that's what you need, especially on the defensive end, especially as this defense has played with the injuries and everything, and they've stepped up well. But I saw it was a win against the Jets, which is always good, especially when you had the flare up at camp. It's always good to get that victory just to add salt to the wound. So let's look forward to this game upcoming, the third preseason game, which is considered always the most important dress rehearsal. What do you expect to see? And first of all, out of the depth chart, and what do you expect to see from this first team offense going out there against the Broncos?
I think they're going to try to protect the running backs. They're going to try to protect the running backs, but I think they're going to give AP some looks and give him some runs and see what he can do, especially in the red zone. I expect them to do exactly what they did against the Jets, be sound, formidable, look like they have a pace about them, a methodical pace about them, control, Alex Smith to be controlled, and try to score a touchdown this time, I think, is what they're going to. Their goal is. I don't think they were happy with not coming away with a touchdown and having to settle for a field goal. So defensively, and I'm going to chime in on Chris had made the statement about Nicholson allowing Swearinger to play his natural spot, and that's true. Allowing him do what he does best, come down, if need be, play in that box, lay some wood, also roam a little bit, and put some heat on those guys trying to get deep if you think you're going to get deep on that side. And he's also a guy that can lay.
You see how it is with our Redskins inside. His phone blowing up, man.
Yes, that was my go here in a bit. So he's going to allow him to do that. But I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to make some plays, and they're going to try to get off and get out of this thing healthy. That's the main objective, is health more than anything. So wins and losses to me don't matter. I think fans were happy that they were able to get the win, especially with the scuffle with the Jets and all that trash talk. I hate to give Terrell Pryor any sense of feeling good. I don't think the fans would have liked that. So, I think that's what the main objective is, just to be healthy and get into week one healthy so that they can do what they want to do and go after it.
All right. Well, we got more questions, but we got to let you get out of here. You got to answer the boss, man. I appreciate you taking the time. We definitely appreciate all y'all tuning in. We do this every Monday, normally at 7. Well, 8 o'clock is Redskins hour. Normally we do it every Monday at 7. Like I said, we taking a week off, but we still made time for this. Appreciate y'all checking us out. DJ, holler at you later, man. Handle your business, and we definitely will talk some more. Sports on the Hill Podcast, True Radio Network, Redskins Weekly. Here for you. Chime in, tune in. Love y'all. Be back next week.